India's constitution gives us a promise: protection and equality for all. To safeguard women and children, the government created powerful laws like IPC 498A for cruelty, IPC 376 for rape, and the POCSO Act for child protection. These laws were born out of a moral duty to protect the vulnerable. But today, India faces a dual challenge. How do we protect genuine victims, while also preventing the misuse of these very same laws? When protective laws are weaponized, justice itself is at risk. The report, A System in Peril, highlights this crisis. It shows how false and fabricated criminal cases are rising in India. These aren't just numbers on paper. Misuse causes psychological trauma, social humiliation, financial ruin, and in tragic cases, even suicide. In 2018, the conviction rate for IPC 498A dropped to just 13%, while the conviction rate for all other IPC crimes was nearly 50%. In rape cases under IPC 376, the National Crime Records Bureau confirmed that in 2020, around 17% of registered rape cases were closed by police as false or mistaken. That is more than 5,000 lives disrupted in a single year. To understand this crisis, we must first understand the intent. Articles 14 and 15 of the Indian Constitution empower the state to make special provisions for women and children. That's why laws like 498A, 376, and POCSO were passed. Their purpose was noble: to address gender inequality and protect the vulnerable. But while intent was noble, implementation is where things go wrong. Misuse is not proof that laws should not exist. Misuse is proof that we have failed in enforcement, accountability, and balance. Not every acquittal is a false case. That distinction is crucial. A case can fail for many reasons: lack of evidence, hostile witnesses, or poor investigation. But police data tells us something different. Thousands of cases are closed as false even before trial. These are marked as malicious, mistaken, or unfounded. For example, in 2020, out of 28,046 rape cases, more than 5,000 were closed as false or mistaken. Courts also quash cases when allegations are found to be non-existent or malicious, often in matrimonial disputes. This is the category of cases we are focusing on: cases confirmed by the police or courts to be fabricated. The data reveals alarming trends. In IPC 498A, conviction rates have collapsed. In Bengaluru, between 2017 and 2022, out of 2,002 cases filed under 498A, only 24 ended in conviction, a shocking conviction rate of 1%. In rape cases, conviction rates in 2020 stood at 39%. While this is higher than 498A, it still means more than half of the accused were acquitted or discharged. Add to this the 17% closed as false before trial, and we see a dangerous pattern. This data suggests that while thousands of genuine victims exist, there is also a significant and undeniable level of misuse. One major form of misuse is the mechanical inclusion of entire families under IPC 498A. Elderly mothers, distant sisters, and even relatives living abroad are often implicated without evidence. Courts have called this an abusive process. In 2025, the Delhi High Court quashed charges against a sister-in-law who barely lived in the matrimonial home, stressing that false implication damages innocent lives. Under IPC 376, many cases arise from broken relationships. Courts often face situations where consensual intimacy turns into a rape allegation when the relationship ends. In the Mandar Deepak Pawar case, the Supreme Court explained the difference between a genuine failed promise and a fraudulent false promise of marriage. And in custody disputes, the POCSO Act is sometimes misused. Mothers have been found to file false cases against fathers alleging child abuse, only to gain custody. The Kerala High Court in 2024 called this a dangerous misuse of one of India's strictest laws. But misuse is not only by women. Many men escape punishment because of loopholes. Survivors often face social stigma, weak investigations, and intimidation in court. Out of more than 28,000 rape cases registered in 2020, only about 39% ended in conviction. The remaining survivors left without justice, while their attackers walked free. This proves that both sides, false cases and failed prosecutions, destroy the credibility of our justice system. The cost of false cases is devastating. Families are torn apart. Accused individuals face depression, PTSD, and social isolation. Legal fees and court battles destroy financial stability. Some victims of false accusations never recover their reputation, even after acquittal. The 2023 case of Atul Subhash shocked India. Accused falsely under domestic violence and dowry laws, he took his own life. In his note, he blamed the misuse of law and the social humiliation he suffered. This shows the darkest reality, that protective laws, when misused, can become weapons that kill. At the same time, false cases damage genuine victims too. Every fabricated complaint makes society more skeptical, forcing real survivors to fight even harder to be believed. Why does this misuse continue? Because accountability is missing. Police still make mechanical arrests under 498A, despite the Supreme Court's Arnesh Kumar guidelines, which specifically warned against routine arrests. Courts rarely use IPC 182 or 211, which punish filing false information or false charges. The reason? Judges fear punishing complainants may discourage genuine victims. But this hesitation creates a free pass for malicious cases. The result is a zero-risk environment for filing false cases, while genuine cases collapse under weak investigations. Case studies across India highlight the misuse. In 2014, the Supreme Court in Arnesh Kumar v. State of Bihar stopped routine arrests in 498A, acknowledging misuse. In 2022, the Supreme Court distinguished between a false promise of marriage and a genuine failed promise. In 2023, the Uttarakhand High Court warned that IPC 376 was being used as a weapon to duress. And in 2025, the Delhi High Court reprimanded a complainant for falsely accusing her sister-in-law. Together, these cases show that misuse is not isolated, it is systematic and recurring. The report suggests reforms that can restore balance. First, mandatory preliminary inquiries before registering 498A cases to prevent false accusations from immediately turning into arrests. Second, strict enforcement of IPC 182 and 211 to punish those who deliberately file false cases. Third, introduce gender-neutral domestic violence and harassment laws, protecting both men and women equally. Fourth, make IPC 498A compoundable with court supervision, so that civil matrimonial disputes can be settled without years of criminal harassment. Finally, train police and judges to handle sensitive cases better, so genuine victims get justice while fabricated cases are filtered out early. The misuse of protective laws is real, measurable, and devastating. False cases filed by women ruin men's lives and weaken trust in justice. At the same time, loopholes exploited by men deny justice to genuine survivors. Both are equally harmful. India must protect the innocent and punish the guilty, without gender bias. Justice must not become a weapon in the hands of the malicious. Instead, it must remain a shield for the vulnerable. The path forward is not to weaken protective laws, but to strengthen accountability. Only then can India truly say, justice for all, no misuse, no silence.